Hello and welcome to today's CFX Connections webinar. My name is Stephanie Lippy and I'm the conference manager for the Church Facilities Conference and Expo. Today we're hosting the webinar on building an internet campus and the future of online church. During today's webinar, we do encourage you to use the chat options to connect with the other attendees and share your thoughts on what is being presented. You can share questions there, or if you would like, you can click on the raise your hand icon and we'll address it as we have time. Please note that all links to resources that are discussed in this webinar will be found on our website at churchfacilitiesexpo.com/webinars. A recording of today's webinar will be shared with each registrant in a few days. It is my pleasure today to introduce you to Jason Caston. Jason is an international speaker, author, professor, and digital social platform specialist for faith-based organizations. Having helped train over 5,000 leaders, as well as having built websites, apps, and social media properties that reach over 8 million people daily, Jason has proven that his cutting-edge technological savvy and business acumen have made him a sought-after digital platforms, internet church, mobile, and social media specialist. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get right into it. I want to make sure we take care of everybody's time and appreciate that and get through the stuff that we want to talk about today. So here's some key things I want to do today as we're talking about internet church campuses and building internet church campuses, as well as what's coming in the future. So I want to teach you key areas to focus on in terms of building an internet church campus, as well as what's coming. Give you the tools and instructions to utilize them, because I want to make sure you actually implement some of the things that I'm talking about. But I want to give you a glimpse of what's coming in the future, because as we're looking at the times that we're in right now, the pandemic caught a lot of churches and ministry off guard. Even though there were church communicators like myself who have been talking about these things for a myriad of years. Just to give you an example, I got an email 2 days ago, no, yesterday, from an attendee who saw me speak in 2013 at a conference, and she had purchased one of the digital download cards that I had given away that had all my materials on it. And she sent me an email and said, hey, I tried to use my access code. I saw you speak many years ago, and I tried to use my access code and it didn't work. Can you please, send me access to your materials? And my initial thought was, that was 6 years ago. I really wish you would not have waited that long to actually utilize the material. So the stuff I'm talking about today and want to tell you all today, please don't wait 6 or 7 years or for the next global pandemic to utilize these things. And when I'm talking about what's coming in the future, I want you to get ahead of the curve, because the church has spent too many years being behind the curve when it comes to technology. All right, so we're talking about internet church campus. We're talking about an innovative, immersive, interactive, engaging online worship experience. All right, we're talking about a mixture of live video, archive, social media, e-commerce, it's mobile compatible. We're going to talk about, salvation and prayer features. I want you to talk about how you can build a community in the online space. And it's even more important now. There will be a new normal. So as we're looking at what's coming in the future, there will be an online component to the offline church experience. Now, we're not saying that internet church is coming to supplant the traditional church experience. As we've seen in these new times, internet church campus is to supplement the online experience, is to supplement the traditional church experience. And we want to give people a way to join your ministry online. And this could be as simple as a link back to your website, or give them a form to fill out to become an e-member. But you want to give them a way to stay connected with you in the digital space, just in case you're not able to open the doors, as many places are not able to now. All right, there are 3 steps to setting up an online campus. All right, set up the live stream, set up the actual online campus, and then staying connected throughout the week. We're not talking about just a weekend and a midweek experience. We're talking about ways to stay connected with your online audience all throughout the week. That's what makes this internet church campus much more effective because all of our online members and our online audiences, no matter where they are around the globe, need to stay connected with us all throughout the week. Now, let's look at just online streaming for some of you all who need some options with the online streaming. If you want it quick and easy, then that's just, a mobile phone and a microphone. Again, the microphone and the audio is what's key to live streaming your experience. If you want middle of the road, that's where we get to the Mevo camera, and that Mevo automatically to your internet and broadcast out to your Facebook, your Facebook Live, your YouTube Live, as well as if you have you're streaming through in a church online experience or something like that. And if you want to go high end, that's when you get an HD camera, a microphone, an encoder, and all those types of different services or platforms that you want to stream out to. And I think I believe it was the new one that everybody's using. I want to say it's a place to grow, a place of I can't think of it, but you guys know there's a new streaming service that a lot of people are using, and I'll think of it and come to it back later. Additionally, you don't necessarily have to go live with your service. You can record your service and then stream it later, even using the church online platform that we're going to talk about. It's called a simulated live experience. And in the simulated live experience, it's where you're showing a recording as if it's live and people can interact around this recorded experience. So that's the way to do it as well. Now, let's talk about church online platform. This is what the church online platform looks like. As you can see with the actual video player, and usually on the right hand side there's a schedule, but when the service is live, there's actually a chat box and all that stuff going on. And then at the bottom, as you can see there, they show you when the next service is coming up. So this is what your internet campus usually looks like to people when you're not actually streaming live. You have a video showing, whether it be an intro video to your church or a rebroadcast of a service. All right, and this comes from churchonlineplatform.com. churchonlineplatform.com. Let's talk about how to set this up. When you're setting up a new service, you want to hit the add service button, and from there is where you start to add the information about your services. So that's one of the first things you want to do, is you're adding a service. What time are you going to stream? What are the details? What is the service title going to be? How long is the service going to be? And these are the things that you're putting in when you're setting up a service using the churchonlineplatform.com. Again, Church Online Platform from Life Church is a free online church platform, one of the best I've seen out there. And this is the information that you're putting in when you're utilizing this. So when you go in and set it up, you choose what you want the name of your online church to be, as well as entering this information. The main thing that you want to do is the services, as well as showing where you're streaming from. So when we look down under video, whether you're doing live streaming through YouTube, Vimeo, or whatever your service is, or simulated live where you're showing a pre-recorded Vimeo or YouTube video, that is where you put this information in. And now with the next one, I'm sorry, there we go. All right, so with the setup, after you set up your service, then you want to put the information in about your actual online campus. So here we're showing with the offline content, what video is showing when you're not streaming live. And that is what this is right here. This is showing what's showing when you're not streaming live. This video we have right here is a rebroadcast of a service. But you can put any video in there to show when you're not streaming live. And that's what you want to be able to show people, whether it be a video, an image, what have you, but something that they can watch when you're not streaming live at certain service times. Additional things that you see on here are sharing and domain and church info. If you have a custom domain that you want your online church to have, you can put that information in here as well. For sharing, there is when you're sharing on Facebook or Twitter or whatever social media platform people are sharing your online church at, you can put an image in there and that can represent your ministry, and that image can be shared. Church info is actually info about your church. This will be information that you put in, church name, church address, all that good stuff is put in right there, right here at the church info aspect. And then of course, offline prayer. At the bottom is showing what email address you want to send prayer requests to. This email, again, please make sure this box is monitored. Do not let people's prayer requests go into just a box that nobody's looking at, because these are real prayers that people need. And these are real people that you're connecting with. Even though you don't see them, they're real people in the online space that are looking for real help, especially in these day and times. With this particular aspect, with the header here and the appearance of the online church, you see here you can put the navigation links that you have here and the logo for your ministry there in the background color, and this is how it appears when it's actually showing on the actual live online campus. So I just want to make sure you guys were able to see how this looks, and you choose the background color and you choose information for this. Okay. All right. Hold on. Now, we're looking at the future of online church, because don't want to just talk about what's showing now. I want to talk about what's showing in the future. In the future of online church, we have, you have to look at the augmented reality and the virtual reality. Now, the future of online church has a totally different aspect to it, okay? Right now, we have these internet church campuses, but I want you to be able to look at what's coming in the future in terms of augmented reality and virtual reality and different types of things. The actual internet church experience is going to be a much more immersive experience. So right now we're looking at the internet church campuses, but in the future, we're going to have different things like augmented reality and virtual reality. And I just want you all to be aware of that as those things start to come down the line. And it's not just the traditional online church experience that we're used to seeing these days. Now, continuing on, stay connected with your members throughout the week. Again, using social media, email, text, and other methods, keep your members updated, inspired, encouraged. Keep the content coming. One of the things that we're seeing with ministries is that they only stay connected with their members on the weekend and midweek services. And during the week, the members, they're not staying connected with them. So as part of your internet church experience, think of it more so it's not just your internet church campus, but your social media channels, your website, your email list, your text list, all the different ways that you can stay connected with them. Do utilize those and stay connected with your members throughout the week. And one of the key things that you have to do in order to understand how your members are staying connected with you is to measure everything. Measure everything. Use your analytics, input your analytics, and measure everything. Make sure that you have ways to see how they're staying connected. Where are they coming from? What ways are they connecting with you, so that as you're trying to figure out what's next, as you're building out your online campus, you want to measure everything that you're doing. Okay, now I'm stopping here real quick just to make sure if we have any questions or anything before I keep going. And I don't see any questions as of yet. So.
Nope, we're good for now, but if you do have questions, please let us know.
All right, let's keep going. Now, I want to keep talking about the future of online church. One of the key things, and I actually have to mute my Alexa device because I want to talk about Alexa. One of the key things in talking about the future of online churches or online campuses and ways we stay connected is devices like Alexa. Alexa right now is when we look at the way future generations and the way we interact with online devices and different digital platforms that are growing in the future, Alexa has over 100 million devices out here. And so with all these devices, there are ways that we can currently take podcasts and different daily devotionals and put them on Alexa so churches can stay connected with their online audiences. Alexa as a platform is, as you can see with, I don't know if you all have, kids, grandkids, what have you, but they interact with devices by talking to them the way we used to look at the Jetsons and think of how innovative that was. It's normal to them. So when we're looking at ways that churches can stay connected with their audience and get content out, and get the gospel out, and get daily devotionals and different ministry and rebroadcast messages, think of Alexa as a platform that you can utilize. So it's not just websites, not just social media, not just internet campuses, but Alexa is a way that you can utilize to stay connected with your online audiences. Okay. And I actually use my Alexa to control quite a few things, whether it be my home, whether it be listening to podcasts, whether it be listening to sermons or messages. I do that with my Alexa now. And one of the key ways that I want churches to understand the way that people are staying connected and interacting with devices and talking and utilizing them in the future is the way Alexa is growing, as well as Google Smart Home. Again, Apple has one too called the HomePod, but Alexa has taken the lead in this particular space. And it's not that difficult, and albeit free, to get your podcasts and sermons and messages onto the Alexa platform. Now, we're talking about AI. I really I want to drill this point down when it comes to talking about ministry from the perspective of AI. When we use the internet now, whether it be YouTube, any social media platform, Google anything, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. Now listen to Spotify as well. All of these platforms are customized based on our preferences. They learn us. So they collect data on what we do, and then they learn what we want and what we're looking for. Your Google results, you search for something, are customized to you. What you've looked at in the past, how Google knows you, things you've seen. Your Facebook social media news feed is customized based on what you've clicked on, what you've liked, and what you do. Same thing with YouTube videos based on what you watch, Spotify based on what you listen to. When we're looking at the future of online church, and I'm talking about from your website to what videos people are watching on in your on your website, and just any type of interactive experience, it's going to need to be customized to how people where they're at in their spiritual walk. When people come into the offline church, and we would meet them where they are, as the gospel says. If someone was a baby in the ministry and just, we would minister to them in a different way. If someone was further along in their spiritual walk, we would minister to them in a different way. We did that in the offline church. That's the way we connected with them. But in the online space, it's usually a catch-all type of solution, where this is what's on our website, this is just what we have, this is the way we'll minister to you. But we don't have a way to customize their online experience to where they're at. What is it that they're looking for? Are they more interested in talking about faith? Are they at a space in life where the issues that they're dealing with are family, stuff like that? Just the things what message does the gospel have to meet them right where they are? And the question is, how can we do this? Well, websites can do this. As you start to gather information on people who come to your website, hence remember earlier I said analytics, you start to gather information on people who come to your websites. What are the key things they're looking for when they're on their website? What are they searching for? Whether it be are they searching for messages that are on hope, faith, salvation? What are they searching for? From there, you start to gather information on individual users by having them log in and giving them access to, let them log in on your site and start watching where they go and what they navigate to. And then you actually start to have the website be customized to their experiences. And again, I hope I'm not getting too technical, but I'm telling you where church is going, where the websites are going. And this is what we already see in the other things that we do online. But where we really need it is in our spiritual and faith-based walk and our Christian walk. And churches have no idea how to customize the online experience to where the user at in their faith-based walk. And that's what we're coming to. That's what the future of the online ministry is going to need to do. It's going to be just as customizable as a Google search, as a Facebook news feed, as a YouTube feed. So the way these things are done is you have to start collecting data on your users and seeing what are they looking for when they come to your site. What are the messages that they need? What are the solutions to their problems that the gospel has? And again, it's going to take some time to get there. But what I don't want is the church to continually be playing catch up to every other aspect of our online lives, and everything else is customized to us. But when we need a spiritual solution to our, our everyday problems, then we can't get that from the place that we should be able to get it from. So that's how we need to look at the future of online church: customized experiences based on where we're at in our spiritual lives. Another thing, think about mobile. The future of mobile is going to be more than the phone. All right. Right now, I have on my Apple Watch, and I talked about AR and VR earlier. But when we're thinking about smartwatches and the future of mobile, it's going to be more towards, these different devices. It might even be appliances, but it's definitely going to be smart glasses. And so when we're looking at the way things are going to go in the future, there's going to be an online aspect to everything that happens offline aspect to everything that happens online. I want to give you an example of the way church could look in the future. If we're sitting in a sanctuary and I have on a pair of Apple, and I'm Apple biased, I have on a pair of Apple smart glasses. Using AR, while the preacher is preaching a message, he might be preaching a message on the parables. While he's preaching and I'm watching him, to the side of him could be an actual reenactment of what's happening of this biblical story. And I'll be able to see that digitally. So very similar to the way we see people use their phones to chase Pokemon or do other things in the digital space, that they're seeing these digital things happen, in the offline world. We're working on solutions with churches where they're able to actually preach messages, and in real time, those messages be reenacted so that people can see them while the pastor is preaching. That's the future. Now that may be 3, 4, 5 years out, etc., but that's the future of the church experience, to make it more immersive, engaging, and innovative, so that while you're able to see these things happening in real time. Now think about the younger generations, because they'll think this is normal, but to keep them more engaged, to actually see these stories acted out as a pastor is preaching this message would be, a step forward for where the church is going. And those are the things that we're trying to do. And so, again, I want you to think about, when it comes to mobile, like, as great as the phone is, the mobile phone is for us, and the computing power that it has. And they're saying it has more computing power than, Apollo when it went to the moon. For future younger generations, this is normal to them. This is everyday use to them. This does not impress them. So when we're talking about ways to stay connected with them in an innovative way, or what's coming down the line, that'll be where the future of digital platforms is going, i.e. the digital landscape, and thus the digital missionary field. We have to make sure that we're looking at, okay, here's the ways we can connect with them today, but what's coming down the line so that we stay connected with them. So that as web went from desktop and laptop to mobile, it was imperative for organizations, churches, and so on to stay connected in that mobile space, because it was no longer a desktop space. But this was starting to be seen back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, because Google search results were starting to show that people were doing more mobile searches than desktop searches. So that was the time to get ahead of that. But unfortunately, a lot of ministries and churches didn't catch on to that. And so they were behind the curve when it came to that. So that's why I'm talking about these things, not just to say, hey, here's how you build an internet church campus today, but hey, here's the internet church campus of the future. And so that's the way we stay connected.
Jason, I do have a question that came up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How can a church on limited funds implement some of these technologies that you're talking about?
Oh, that's a great question. And actually, that was the end of, just want to say I was into my presentation, but let's talk about that question. That was one of the key things that when I was working for quite a few large churches, smaller churches would ask, because they thought that only large ministries with mega church budgets could do these things. The majority of things I talked about today range from free to, I don't know, let's say $500 tops. But if you're talking about setting up an internet church campus, the church online platform I gave you was free. If you want to record the message, you can record a great message with something as small as an iPhone, as well as you just need a microphone. You can get a good microphone for your iPhone or Android phone off of Amazon. That's the key. It's not just the video, but it's the audio that makes it effective. So if you have those two things, then you record the video and load it up to YouTube or Vimeo, and then you simulcast it through the church online platform. Everything I just laid out to you was free, except for that microphone might be, I think, like $30. Let's say $50 tops. So with that type of solution, you can record video, 4K video, because that's what you can do on these phones these days, with good audio because of that microphone, load it up to YouTube or Vimeo, and simulcast it through the church online platform. You spent $50 total. And that's the way you can do stuff like that. So again, it's not always where you have to have a large budget or unlimited resources to make these things happen. It's just the right resources. Let's see, do we have any additional questions?
I have one. So you've mentioned the church online platform a couple of times. Are there other platforms out there that are also good to use, free, not free, just other options that might be out there?
The only other platform I've seen besides, I can't think of it, besides church online platform, which no, there isn't one that I've seen that's as good as that one. So that would be my first, second, and third choice. But I can't think of, there's a new company they have, I think it's called Resi, that's what it is, RESI. Resi is the option. So check out Resi, and that would be the company. I was trying to think of the company earlier, and I kept saying a place to grow or a life way to grow or something like that. Actually, they changed their name to Resi. That would be the other company I would look at as far as a streaming and / church online platform. But I would not go any other way than churchonlineplatform.com.
All right, thanks. Are there any other questions? Oh, I do have one there. Let's see what it is. How do church apps fit into some of these ideas?
Okay, so mobile church apps. And the question always comes up, should you do a mobile website or a mobile app? Mobile church apps come into this equation because they give a way for your online users to stay connected with you in the mobile space. You can do a mobile website that's would be easier and it's more cost effective, but a mobile church app does give you more flexibility to pull people into your church digital platforms and stay connected with them. How do you stay connected with them? I'm glad you asked. Two ways. One is the key about having a church app is push notifications. That is one of the key ways to stay connected with them. Let them know, hey, we're streaming now, we're broadcasting now, or any message that you want to send them, including daily devotionals. Number two, reason why a church app is one of the best ways to stay connected with them in the mobile space is beacons. And beacons, which we can talk about right now, is when we actually get back in the building. Beacons, in terms of giving people a way to, that you can talk to them based on where they're located within your church building. So if one of the key ways I can give you an example of beacons is when you're using a Walmart app or some type of grocery store app. They know Target is another one as well. They know when you're in the store, they know when you're outside the store. That's based on beacons. When you're inside the app knows your location, geolocation is what it's called, and they communicate with you differently based on where you're at in the store. So if you're thinking about staying connected with your audience, if they're in the building, one of the key things that you can do is, hey, if they're walking through, you can say, hey, we're starting our service right now. You can send that to them based on where they're walking at. You can let them know, hey, especially new members or members with children, hey, children's ministry is located in this particular area. You could stay connected with them based on where they're walking in the building. And that's some of the key things. One of the churches that I've worked with, the things that they wanted to do was give you a message when you walked in the building. So they put a beacon by the door. And every time you walked in the building, the app gave you a message. Welcome, glad you're here, thank you, all that good stuff, as well as messages as far as when people were trying to find the children's ministry. When they got close, they gave them a message, hey, keep going straight down this hall, the children's ministry is coming up. So those type of things are ways that you can stay connected with people using your mobile apps, as well as just broadcasting your service and push notifications.
Okay. Andy, if there's more that you have for that one, let us know. But We'll see if that one's answered. If there are any other questions, feel free to go ahead and ask them now.
Oh, also too, one of the key things, if you do have more questions, and I know that questions might come up later, I definitely want to give a way to stay connected with me, which is my email address is Caston, Caston, at ichurchmethod.com, Caston, Caston, at ichurchmethod.com. And that way you can ask me questions that you may have that you thought about, or after we're off this webinar, you're like, oh man, I should ask them that. That's a way to ask a question.
Okay, so we have one last question. Andy is asking about beacons, and he's asking, what is this tech?
Good question, Andy. So beacons technology these are small little, I would call them little modules that you can put around a venue. We'll say put around the church. And as your phone passes these particular modules, then whatever message you have that you've programmed will actually show up via the mobile app. So if we use Target as an example, Target has beacons set up that when you walk past certain areas, they know where you're at. So when you're looking for certain items in the store, they can tell you where that item is at based on you searching, and they know that you're actually in the store and which store you're in. For churches, what you would do, some of the churches I've worked with, is they put these beacons, which are modules, right by the door. And as you walk in the door, the mobile app knows that your phone is walking past the beacon, and it sends you a message. You program this message in the back end of the software and all that good stuff. So basically the technology is just based on geolocation. Wherever your phone's located, when it gets in proximity to this module, then a message is sent to the mobile app. And they use it all the time. You'll probably start to notice it a lot more now. It's just that churches have not been using it as effectively as they could. We originally saw it in our grocery stores, your Walmarts, your Targets, and then we started to see it was accessible by more organizations. And now churches have the opportunity to use it through their mobile app providers, as well as Facebook actually offers it as well, using it through your business page. They'll send you actually a beacon, and then you can communicate with your Facebook subscribers who are on your business page. So yeah, that's how it works, mobile and a beacon.
Fascinating. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Jason. I have to admit, my mind is a little bit blown right now at some of the things you were talking about, specifically thinking about using AR and VR in your church services. I know a few years ago, I remember hearing that theaters were trying to figure out ways to do that. And it's just really cool to see the church coming up with ideas on how to make that more of a reality now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we're waiting on the technology to catch up.
Yep.
And based on what I've been seeing, once, I know there's another company, but I think Apple's going to buy them. But once Apple's glasses come out, I mean, Facebook has their VR device, the Oculus, but those devices are not mass adopted yet. But I think something that could be mass adopted would be like smart glasses over the next 5 years. And I just don't want the church to be left behind with that type of opportunity.
Well, and I think it's so right. Using the tools that God has allowed us to create. He's given us the intelligence to be able to come up with these things. So why wouldn't we use them to reach people for him and his kingdom? So I just think it's awesome, the stuff that you've got here today. Thank you so much for joining us. And as Jason said, you can email him or you can connect with him on Twitter or Instagram at Jason Caston if you have any further questions or want to just reach out to him for other topics or things to discuss. For those of you who have attended live today, we thank you for joining us, and we'll be sending you a free copy of Jason's ebook, The Digital Connections, that you see right there, as a thank you for attending. And anyone who is watching this afterwards will have it posted for you to be able to access that as well. And remember to register today for CFX Virtual, which is taking place October 5th through December 6th. This is a new way of experiencing a virtual conference through interactive and networking opportunities, as well as a schedule that's not going to overwhelm you. We recognize that people's time is so valuable right now, and so we I know it seems crazy, 2 months, what? But it's stretched out so that you have an option to be able to not feel overwhelmed with the schedule. Sessions will be shared on demand once they've aired live. So that way, if you miss it, you'll still be able to go back and catch it. Check out more at churchfacilitiesexpo.com. And just so you know, there is one more week to be able to get $20 off of your registration. If you use promo code EARLY, capital all caps EARLY, before September 1st, you can get in on this amazing deal. Next month, our webinar we'll have Amy Cottle and Meredith Irwin from Fishhook joining us, and we'll be talking about how to bring your brand experience into your building. So I know we're still kind of like, what? Some people are in their buildings, some people aren't, but there's always an opportunity for you to be able to figure out how to make that brand experience connect everything within you. Jason talked about it today with Digital Church, and we can talk about it more inside your building next time. So make sure you subscribe on our website today, and you'll find out more about that then. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and let's enjoy these last few days of summer while we've got them. Bye, everybody.